Your father left strict instructions. Only you can open this box. Your father suspected betrayal before he died.
He returned from Europe after 8 long years abroad. 8 years of struggle, silence, and sacrifice. The village had been waiting for this moment. As soon as news spread that Chinedu was coming home, everything changed. Drums echoed through the village. Women dressed in traditional wrappers rushed to the compound. Children ran barefoot through dusty paths shouting his name. It is Chinedu. He has returned from Europe. The expectation was simple. A celebration, a reunion, a moment of pride for the family. But what they did not know was that Chinedu was not returning as the same man who left. At the airport, everything felt different. Chinedu stood still as a crowd around him celebrated other arrivals. People hugged their families. Laughter filled the hall. But he just stood there, quiet, empty, like someone who had already buried joy somewhere far away. When a relative finally saw him and shouted in excitement, "Chinedu, you are welcome. Your father would have been so proud." There was a pause, a long silence. Then the words came. "Your father has already been buried 3 weeks ago." The reaction they expected never came. No tears, no shock, no collapse, only silence. Chinedu nodded slowly, as if he already knew. And that was the first moment fear entered the hearts of those around him, because grief is supposed to break a man. But Chinedu remained intact, too intact. The journey to the village was quiet. No music, no celebration anymore. Even the road felt heavier than usual. When they arrived at the family compound, everything was still. No singing women, no elders sitting outside, no children running around. Only silence, too much silence, as though the house itself was mourning something deeper than death. Chinedu stepped inside and stopped. In the center of the living room sat a black box, not decorative, not ceremonial, just placed deliberately, waiting. His name was already written on it. His hands froze. Before he could speak, the lawyer stepped forward, a thin, aged man holding a brown envelope. His voice was low, controlled, almost fearful. "Your father left strict instructions. He said only you can open this box." Chinedu looked at the box, then at the lawyer, then at the room. Something inside him tightened, because this was not normal inheritance behavior. This was preparation. He sat down slowly. The room felt smaller now. Everyone watched him like they were waiting for something to explode. He placed his hand on the box and hesitated. For a moment, he saw flashes. His father alive, his father shouting, his father refusing to answer certain questions in the past. Things Chinedu never understood. Until now. He opened the box. Inside was a file. Old, sealed, stamped, legal documents. He pulled it out slowly. The lawyer didn't speak. Nobody did. Chinedu opened it. His eyes scanned the first page, then the second. Then suddenly, his breathing changed. The document was a land transfer agreement, but not for their family land, not for ancestral property. This was something else entirely. A strategic piece of land outside the village. Land now valued in millions. Sold, legally transferred, to a foreign development company. Chinedu blinked. Then he saw the signature. He froze. The signature belonged to someone he recognized instantly. His uncle, his father's own brother, the man who sat at family meetings and prayed with him during burials. Chinedu looked up slowly. "No," he whispered. The lawyer lowered his eyes, as if he had been waiting for this moment all along. Then he spoke again, quietly, carefully. "Your father suspected betrayal before he died." Silence hit the room like thunder. Chinedu stood up. His chair fell backward, but he didn't notice. His eyes were fixed on the document. "This was not supposed to exist," he said. The lawyer replied, "Your father discovered the sale 2 months before his death. He tried to stop it. But something changed after that." Chinedu turned sharply. "What do you mean, something changed?" The lawyer hesitated, then said, "He stopped speaking about it. And shortly after, he died." The room temperature felt different now. Chinedu walked to the window. Outside, The village was still, but inside him, something was breaking open. He remembered his father's last phone call. A weak voice, short sentences, words that made no sense at the time. Trust no one, not even blood. Chinedu had thought it was illness speaking. Now he wasn't sure. He turned back. "Where's my uncle?" he asked. Nobody answered immediately. Then someone outside the room said, "He has not been seen since the burial." Chinedu laughed, but it wasn't humor. It was disbelief turning into anger. "So he signs away property and disappears after my father dies?" No answer, only silence, the kind of silence that confirms truth without words. Chinedu picked up the land document again. His hands were shaking now, not from fear, but realization. This wasn't just betrayal. This was timing, precision, coordination. Someone benefited immediately after his father's death. Too immediately. And that meant one thing. His father did not simply die. Something had been arranged. He looked at the lawyer again. "One more question," he said. "Was my father sick?" The lawyer shook his head slowly. "No, he was healthy. Until the last week." Chinedu froze. "And what happened in the last week?" The lawyer swallowed, then replied, "He received a visitor." Chinedu stepped forward. "Who?" The lawyer hesitated longer this time, then whispered, "Your uncle." The room went cold. Everything stopped. Even sound felt distant. Chinedu felt something inside him snap quietly, because now it was not just suspicion. It was pattern. It was connection. It was intent. He closed the file, slowly, carefully, then looked at the black box again. "What else did my father leave?" he asked. The lawyer reached into his envelope and pulled out a single note, folded, old handwriting. Chinedu opened it. Only one sentence was written. "They will not stop at land. They will come for everything you are." Silence again. But this time, it was different. This silence was not empty. It was warning. Chinedu stepped outside the house. The village air hit him, but it didn't feel familiar anymore. Everything had changed. Not the village, not the people, but him, because he was no longer returning home. He was returning into a story his father died trying to finish. And somewhere in the distance, someone was watching him. Chinedu didn't know it yet, but the black box was not the beginning of the truth. It was only the part his father was able to save. The night after opening the black box, Chinedu did not sleep. Every sound in the compound felt suspicious. The creaking of the wooden roof, the barking of distant dogs. Even the wind through the mango trees sounded like whispers. He kept rereading his father's note. "They will not stop at land. They will come for everything you are." At exactly 2:13 a.m., there was a knock on his window. Not the front door, the window. 3 slow knocks. Talk, talk, talk. Chinedu stood up immediately. No one was supposed to know he was awake. He moved quietly and opened the curtain just enough to see outside. An old woman stood there, bent back, barefoot, white wrapper, no lantern, just staring at him. He opened the window halfway. "Who are you?" he whispered. The woman looked toward the family gate, then back at him. Her voice was dry. "If you want to know how your father died, do not wait till morning." Then she turned and walked into the darkness. Chinedu rushed outside, but when he reached the gate, no one was there. No footsteps, no movement. Only one thing remained on the ground, a rusted key, and a piece of paper with an address written in shaky handwriting. Umuaka Road, last house by the river. At dawn, he told no one. Not the lawyer, not his cousins, not even his mother's younger sister who had helped raise him. He wore a plain shirt, put the key in his pocket, and left the compound alone. The road to Umuaka was not familiar. It was outside the main village, close to the abandoned riverbank where children were warned never to play. The farther he walked, the quieter everything became. No market sounds, no motorcycles, no voices, just the river and the house. It stood crooked among overgrown weeds. Small, cement walls, tin roof half broken. But one thing stood out, a brand new padlock on the front door. Chinedu froze. Someone had recently been there. He reached into his pocket and pulled out the rusted key. His hand shook as he inserted it. It fit perfectly. The lock clicked. The door opened. The smell hit him first. Old paper, dust, and something else. Medicine. Like a sick room. He stepped inside. The curtains were closed, but sunlight pushed through cracks in the wall. The room was small. A wooden table, 2 chairs, an old standing fan, and on the wall, a framed photograph. Chinedu's breath stopped. It was his father, standing beside his uncle, and between them, a young woman holding a baby. He stared at the child in the photograph. Then his knees nearly gave way. The child was him. But he had never seen that woman before. Not once in his life. His hands trembled as he took the photo down. Written behind it were words in his father's handwriting. If Chinedu finds this, tell him the woman is still alive. His heart began pounding. Still alive? Who was she? Why had his father hidden her? And why was his uncle in the picture? Before he could think further, he heard footsteps outside. Someone was approaching the house. Slowly, Chinedu dropped the photo and looked around. There was nowhere to hide except a narrow storage room at the back. He rushed inside and pulled the door shut. The footsteps stopped. Then the front door creaked open. A man entered, heavy breathing, walking with a limp. Chinedu peered through the crack in the wood, and his blood ran cold. It was his uncle. Uncle Nana looked older than he remembered. Thinner, nervous. He locked the door behind him and went straight to the table. Then he spoke, but not to himself, to someone on the phone. They found the box, he said. Silence. Then again, yes. He opened it. Chinedu's chest tightened. His uncle continued. No, he doesn't know about the woman yet. The phone line crackled. Then the uncle said something that changed everything. He still thinks the dead man was his father. Chinedu nearly gasped aloud. His mouth went dry. What did that mean? The dead man was not his father? Then who raised him? Who was buried 3 weeks ago? And why had everyone lied? The storage room suddenly felt too small, too hot, too dangerous. His uncle ended the call and sat down heavily. Then he opened a drawer. Inside was another black box. Smaller, same design, same handwriting, and written on it were the words, "For Chinedu, only if they fail to stop him." The uncle stared at it, then whispered, "You should have stayed in Austria." And at that exact moment, a floorboard beneath Chinedu's foot cracked. The sound echoed through the room. The uncle stood up instantly. Silence. Then he turned toward the storage door, slowly, and smiled. If you have enjoyed the story, kindly subscribe, like, and share for more interesting stories.